Hi guys, just wanted to show you this. It's an Orbit 20 jellyfish aquarium. We're over our marine supplier over in Kettering a few weeks ago, and I'd never noticed it before. I walked past this thing thinking it was a picture or something, because you squeeze past this tank into the marine section of the shop. But Debbie spotted that it was actually a large jellyfish tank, and it was mesmerising, I suppose is the word. The tank that they've got set up over there is about £700, so a bit out of our price range. But I managed to get an early Christmas present and gone for the smaller one. It's the Orbit 20, 23 litre tank, and it's made by Orbit Aquarium Systems. But it's not cheap, it's 250 quid. There's not too many suppliers of these at the moment. I suspect the prices will drop as the popularity increases. Good thing about the jellyfish tank is you can use it at room temperature, as long as it doesn't get too hot, too cold, but your average lounge would be about the right temperature, so there's no heater required, and you just need to obviously make up the salt water. Now they seem to have spent rather a lot on the box and not so much on the rest of it, as we'll go through. The box probably tells you more than the rest of it put together, but it's a starter kit, and it includes a hydrometer, a feeding baster, remote control, biomedia, filter sponge and power supply. The filtration and the pump are all within the black ringed area. This is actually clear plastic, and there's a black magnetic ring that clamps on either side, as we'll see in a minute. It does say changeable covers, different colours. Of course, this is an extra. You don't get those for 250 quid. On the side of the box here, we've just got some larger photos of the contents. Built-in low maintenance filtration system, colour changing LED with infrared remote control, changeable front covers, and just what I said a minute ago. Same on the other side, and on this end it just tells you what it is, and it's a 23 litre marine aquarium, perfect for keeping jellyfish at your home or on your desktop. LED illuminated tank, suitable for juvenile or smaller jellyfish species. The jellyfish we're going for, I think, are the moon jellyfish. They don't get too big. Daily instructions are that they require feeding twice a day. Weekly, it's wipe down the inside of the tank to remove any algae that appears and perform a 10% water change. Monthly, remove the filter sponge and rinse under the tap. I suspect there might be more to that, because you certainly don't want to be introducing tap water into any marine aquaria. And every 6 months, clean the filter and filter sponge, remove and clean the pump. And that's about it for the box. Yes, of course, you probably can't see it at the bottom there, but made in China, no big surprise there. It's quite well packaged. I've already taken this out. I wasn't going to bother filming this, but when I saw the instructions I thought, I'm going to film this and have a bit of a whinge. There's a nasty cheap hydrometer. This is already broken open in the case, so I certainly won't be using that to measure the salinity of the water. That will be going straight in the bin. I will test its accuracy though, that will be interesting for a later video. There is a small siphon tube just for doing your water changes each week. You lift off the polystyrene, and this is what hit me immediately. I don't know whether you can see. This is poorly photocopied instructions. If you forked out 250 quid, the least they could do is either have a proper manual or at least take the time to photocopy these so it comes out properly. Really disappointing for 250 quid. The instructions are in pretty good English. It's all pretty straightforward. In fact, if I can just open up each page, there's a before assembly, that's the initial setup. They do supply biomedia, I'll show you that in a minute. It's in 4 separate boxes that pad out the corners. I certainly won't be using that. You should really, I think, use small pieces of live rock instead of the media they supply, and it will certainly speed the maturation of the water up, because it's going to take a couple of weeks to get going correctly before you can actually put things in. But the instructions, you know, it's all there, I think. There is also a link on here to a website where you can download or certainly read a guide on caring for jellyfish. I think it's really important to go and download that and have a look at that. There is a facility to plumb this in to an external filter or chiller, depending on your requirements. This room stays fairly stable during the summer. It's only on the hotter days of August where you might need to consider a chiller. But we'll see. I think I'm going to get a chiller for the Kent Marine tank this summer anyway. But you've got the options here to wire an external filter, or plumb an external filter or chiller in. So after the rubbish instructions, we've got the two covers just etched with cubic on there. I'll just take this out of the bag as that's probably affecting the camera. You can see at the bottom there, cubic. On the back there are 4 magnets, and this simply sticks into place and is held in place with the magnets, and it's one each side. Disappointing it doesn't come with different colours, but black is what we want. The other tank we have is black, and this will be down the same end of the room. Before I lift out the main unit, there are 4 boxes in the corner, and each one contains some just horrible powdery bio media. As I say, I will not be using that. I will go off and get some live rock rubble and use a similar quantity to is in these 4 bags, and use that instead. That will certainly allow the tank to mature a lot quicker than using something like this. So if we just lift this out, the weight when the tank is full of water is around 25 kilos. So you're going to have to bear that in mind when you're deciding where to place it. What fell off then is the next bit of disappointment. I'll show you in a second. So that is the top. There's a lid that just fell off. As soon as I took this out the other day, a screw fell out onto the floor. If you look, there's the LED unit there, and one of the screws has already fallen out. And the reason for that is because the screws barely go into the holes that have been drilled in this side, and you won't see it, but if you look very carefully across here, it's already got a bad scratch on it before when we got it, and a lot of these holes are actually chipped around the edges, and where the screws come out, it's obviously pulled out the tiny little bit of plastic that it's actually held in by. So again, yeah, not very good build quality if that sort of thing is not spotted and rectified in the factory. I guess at some point I might take that apart just to see how waterproof the LEDs are. Multiple colours, and there is a remote control infrared receiver just in the top there. Another disappointing thing is this, again, hopefully you can see this little bit here. It's almost like it's been hand done because it's not even. When you run your fingers along there, you can feel that it's not quite right. It comes up, and when you sit this onto the top, instead of being a nice snug fit, it just sits there rocking. Now, I guess it's a minor whinge, but for that sort of money you'd expect the lid to fit properly. I'm a bit disappointed with that. Yeah, that's the worst way. Hopefully you can see that moving around. You don't want that for 250 quid, I don't think. It's lack of attention to detail really that should have been spotted in the factory, unless they're just not bothered about it. So that's that. Everything is packed neatly inside. We've got a little turkey baster which any marine fish keeper will be familiar with for all sorts of tasks. A block of the filter sponge. There is the tiniest little pump I think I've seen. But that's all it needs. It's only circulating it really very gently around this tank. That is the base that it sits on, and you just lift that up and sit it down onto there, and yeah, it does the job. It's fine. You can just slide that around a bit. Next thing we have is this is going to be another Hong Kong special power supply. This is a 12 volt 3 amp power supply. I wouldn't trust it with 3 amps, a 3 amp load, that's for sure. I haven't done a video on some power supplies I got from eBay recently where they blew up offload during the night. I'll get that video up at some point. So a little power supply. We have the remote control. Hopefully that's focusing for you. That looks like it will control the lights on and off, flashing, strobe, fade, smooth, different colours. That has a little button cell in there, and you just, to activate it, pull out the plastic sheet and the button cell will then make contact and that will work. So that's that. Protecting this is a sponge piece, front and rear. And then another piece there. So you can see how this is going to work. The pump will attach and the electrics will plug in, and the water will circulate. Hang on a second, I realise you can't see the base. Sorry about that. There we go. The media will be at the bottom, the sponge up the top somewhere. Got to work it all out, but yeah, that will all gently circulate here, and there's a spray bar somewhere, as I recall, that just gently moves the water. Oh, in fact it's already fitted. I thought there was a bit to add on. I don't know whether you can see in there, just in here, there is a spray bar. I'm sorry the camera work's not brilliant today. The camera's quite a way away from me. I can't do both together really. But you get the idea. I've got to read the instructions, but I would certainly advise fitting some, or putting in some live rock rubble into the base and not use their media. Definitely go online and look at the instructions for looking after jellyfish. Just spin that round. So a bit of wiring in there. There's a socket in here where the power supply goes in. That actually lifts away, I suspect for maintenance. There's a little bit of plastic here that it sits on. Again, if you can see it. And that's about it as a first look. Again, where this lid sits here, if you run your finger across it, you can feel that it's not even level. I assume this is heated up. It's some sort of acrylic, and it's probably heated up to get into this circular shape. And whether that's done by hand, that lip, or whether it's heated and they haven't just done it quite right, I don't know. But it's annoying. as a showpiece in your lounge, it would be nice if it was correct. It doesn't make a difference which way round you put it. It's that sort of thing that annoys customers. I think it's probably annoyed me perhaps more than most, but it's just no need for it. So that's it. That is the Orbit 20 Jellyfish Aquarium. We will be following this up, I think, with a video once it's been matured, and we'll have a look at that. As I said before, these just simply stick into place with the magnets. I think it looks quite neat with the white and black. The other colours will seem to be yellow, blue, purple and green, but black suits our needs perfectly. There we go, and that's it. I suspect you're going to have to be really very careful with how you wipe this out. The acrylic is going to be very easy to scratch, and that's it. I just wanted to show you that, and as I said, I think this is a fairly new thing to the market. When I looked up online, there didn't seem to be many places selling these tanks yet. All the prices were pretty much the same, around the two. Well, they were all $249, $99, whatever. The larger one is, I don't know, much bigger, probably 3 foot square, £700. You've got to be pretty keen to get one of those. But it did look good. Watching the jellyfish slowly move around in the current was very relaxing. So there we go. Hope that was useful to anyone thinking of one of these. And also, I've just looked at this. Don't forget the static that this is going to attract, because the dust this is going to attract because of the static on the acrylic. But don't be using any chemicals to wipe this down at all. I'm sure, like marine fish, jellies won't be too appreciative of chemicals and spray and stuff like that anywhere near them. So I guess you're going to have to put up with the dust. At least you can take this off and clean it down out of the room and return it after cleaning. So there we go. I'll get it assembled and do a follow-up video and see what you think of it. Thanks for watching as usual.